Welcome to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today I'm going to nitpick the Travis Scott interview that he had with Charlamagne Tha God. Okay, why? Because you guys have requested it quite a bit. I got a lot of emails, a lot of messages being like, please, can you pick this apart? Well, no problem. Allow me. But just know, if you want to watch the whole interview yourself without me commenting every 5 to 10 seconds, then go and watch it. But I'm here to deliver. You want my opinion? You want me to say what I think is going on in my personal opinion? This doesn't mean it's fact. It's what I'm thinking. Sure, let's do it. Okay, hands up if you also do a little dance when that song, when that beat hits, because I do. I'm always like, woo, and then I'm like, okay, it's almost over. Just pull yourself together, woman. Okay, so if you are new here, then hi. You must be like, what is going on here? Hello, if you are new here, welcome to the Grizzly community. I hope you will consider subscribing and hitting the bell and becoming part of us. It's a wonderful community. Just read the comments, you'll see. And hopefully we'll see you here in the next video. So let me pop this on the screen. I like the way that Charlamagne Tha God interviews Travis Scott. Very intense. Okay, so let's get started with this.
Travis Scott, what's up, brother?
What it do?
How you feeling?
You know, I've been on about like different type of like emotions, you know.
Well, how would he know? No, we don't know. This is a whole unique situation. You tell us how you feel. Been on a whole different, lot of emotions. Anyway, let's carry on hearing what he says.
Emotional roller coaster. I mean, it gets so hard because, you know, I always felt like connected with my fans. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I went through something, you know, and I feel like fans went through something and people's parents went through something. And it's, you know,
note the order. I went through something. Fans went through something. The parents went through something. Okay. It's not also something. 10 people died. Okay.
It really, you know, it hurts. It hurts the community. It hurts a city. And it's just been a lot of thoughts, you know, a lot of feelings, a lot of grieving.
A lot of distancing language. It hurts the community. It hurts the city. I mean, you might as well say, in my bank account. It just doesn't feel, I don't feel the emotion here. I can feel that it's coming from here, and then it's coming out here. But like, where is it here? Do you know what I mean? Oh, man. And I'm not even attacking him. If he has no capacity for a deep range of emotions, if he has no capacity for empathy, fine. But then be authentic. Just say, I don't know. I don't feel anything, because I never feel anything. That would be so much more honest, right?
And just, you know, trying to wrap my head around it, you know. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to be there. And just, you know, wish you could just kind of like hold everyone, you know, kind of just heal them, talk to them, have conversations.
I wish I could have been there, held everyone, talk to them, have conversations. Is he talking about after the fact? Probably. But even if he isn't talking about after the fact, then you cannot have conversations with people who have died at your concert. But if he's talking about the parents and the after the fact, sure, but I just don't think that they want you to hold them at this point. And it's also inappropriate at this point.
You know, it just, you know, it really just hurts, man.
Well, what's your intention with this conversation? Like what do you hope to get out of this, or what do you hope to get out?
I don't personally have an intention. I just feel like something happened, and I feel like it's just, I needed just a way to kind of like communicate, you know?
Because your apology video didn't cut it, right? I needed a way to just kind of like communicate. You needed someone to facilitate the conversation and maybe ask all the right questions, because the, oh man, and the head rubbing, remember all that? Oh my goodness. No, 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 no. No intentions. There should be an intention there to apologize. I don't know, I could think of many things he could have answered for what is his intention. And yes, just again, a disclaimer, this will be a snarky, I was going to say another word, snarky episode, because that's what you want. You want the snark to come out. You want the grizzly snarkiness. Some of you like that. This is one of those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
One, you know, the families are grieving, you know, it's fans that experienced something, it's fans that came to a show. You know, and I feel like I just have like I've always been that person to always see things through with the people that shared experiences with me. And, you know, it just, things happen, and, you know, I just kind of, you know, it's been such a time, and I've just been trying to just really figure things out, you know.
What are you trying to figure out, dude? Man, it's distancing language. It's really like something happened, parents are grieving, people had an experience. What? People had an experience, and I'm just trying to come to terms with it. Really trying to wrap my head around it. Really? And it's not like it's the first time one of his concerts has gotten out of hand. The first time 10 people have died. The first time anyone's died, I believe, at his concerts. But it's not the first time that there's been like rushing through the barricades or people jumping off of balconies and getting paralyzed. That happened. The crowd crushing in general, just overcrowded. It's not the first time. So being like, I don't know, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Really?
I know you. I'm sure you experiencing remorse, but was there any hesitation to have this conversation because of the litigation you may be facing?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course you got people that's just like, oh, what? Like, you know, but it's not.
I don't think people are, what? I think there was a legal question, and how he answered it was very not legal. Just very like, people are like, no. People are like, careful now, because you're facing some massive lawsuits, right?
Not about that. You know, it's, you know, you're an artist, whoever people think you are, but at the end of the day, you're a human being, you know, and you have emotions. You want to.
Do you though? And again, I'm not attacking him personally. I don't feel that he has the capacity for a deep range of emotions. Maybe it's because, I don't know, he could be a lot of the time drunk and high, just based on previous episodes, or not episodes, interviews he's done. For example, when he was on the Ellen show, he asked for backstage what should be available. Oh, Hennessy, Patron, champagne, just everything, all the alcohols in the world. I want it all there. It's not like water and fresh fruit and, I don't know, it's just alcohol. And he took a shot on the stage, which is not a problem. You can take a shot. But like, I just think he's very numb. And maybe he's in denial about how numb he is. But I don't feel a big range of emotions. So my pet peeve is when people try to pretend like they have a big range of emotions. If you feel like a freaking psychopath and you have no emotion and you feel no remorse, no empathy, fine, then say that. Rather say, I've just never felt empathy. I've never felt remorse. That's more honest than being like, yeah, I feel so torn up about this. Oh man, I hate that. It's like a pet peeve right there.
Communicate them emotions, you know, and trying to find the best way to communicate, you know, how you just feeling, you know.
Trying to find the best way to communicate the emotions. Emotions are normally, they just show, in a way. Do you know what I mean? They're like, let's say tears are streaming down your face, or your shoulders are shaking, or your I don't know, cheeks are puffing up or going red if you're angry. I don't know, there's lots of things. I'm making weird examples. I'm just saying that, like, emotions generally show in, yes, your body language. Let's say it like that. They show on your face, they show in your body language, and they happen naturally. You don't have to strategize how to communicate them. Do you know what I mean?
How have you been coping with the aftermath of everything? Just emotionally, just you as a human.
I've been just in a room for a while, you know, a lot of thoughts, and luckily, you know, you have people around that you can kind of bounce ideas, but it just been, you know, I've been doing this for such a long time, and you know, nothing like this ever happened, you know, so it just kind of like, you just kind of,
Nothing like this ever happened. Well, actually, things like this happened. It's just 10 people didn't die. But his concerts in particular were always about bringing the rage. It was always wild. You know what I mean? And he wanted to let the wild ones in. Remember all that? It's just like, it is supposed to be wild and aggressive and bring the rage and just like, so to say nothing like this has ever happened? No. People didn't die before. But people were injured before. And he took pictures of them and kind of saw them as heroes when their face was torn up and their eyeballs just about falling out. He's like, man, good job. You know what I mean?
figuring out. And at the end of the day, like, these fans are your family, so you just feel like you lost something, and you just, you go.
Did you forget the number? That you lost something. Why not say that you just lost 10 people?
You do these shows, honestly, to, for people to have the best experience, and just to think that something like this happened, you're just trying to figure out, just wrap everything around. And so even
just wrap everything around. You mean wrap your mind around everything? Probably. But it's interesting that he says to just wrap everything around.
For the first couple weeks, it was just me sitting down, but I had to really channel these emotions to just remember, if no one's gonna be a voice for these people, I gotta kind of step up and kind of be a voice to just.
No one's gonna be a voice for these people? Oh, only the whole internet is a voice for these people. Don't worry, Travis. The whole internet is a lit being voices for these people. We want justice for the victims. And I mean, to deny all allegations, that's not really being a voice for them. You know what I mean? Also, you people, that's a weird thing to say. Grizzlies, you'll realize I am hyper focused on communication. So when I do my snarky episodes like this, you'll see I'm hyper vigilant when it comes to communication. I love studying communication, analyzing every freaking word that everyone says. So, hope you're enjoying that. For those of you who haven't seen this side of me, hi.
Figure out that, this doesn't happen in the future, just shows, period. You know what I'm saying? Or figure out
now you're talking about the future of the show. But you're facing all these lawsuits and 10 people have died, but you're already trying to think of, well, we just got to protect the future of the show. I don't think there's going to be a show in the future, but if there is, that's scary to think about.
Bottom solution of what's going on and just try to ensure people, safety and what they're doing,
Yeah, you said you was in the room, but
ensure people's safety and what they're doing. Do I notice a little bit of blame shifting?
and people saw you at the golf course.
Yeah,
with Michael Jordan and Mark Wahlberg. What was that?
It was just Thanksgiving.
Oh my word. People saw you at the golf course there with Mark Wahlberg, Michael Jordan. What was that? Yeah, that was just Thanksgiving. Okay.
And they were there. It's just good people to have around in the community.
Oh man, there's just no depth. Oh no.
And that was just more like a personal time, just trying to get around. I think some fan came and asked for a photo. But yeah.
Now, let's talk about that.
I like this guy.
That night, man. When did you find out things got as bad as they did? Now, that's the question everybody wants to know.
Yeah, it wasn't really until minutes until the press conference until I figured out exactly what happened.
Minutes until the press conference. I still remember reading that when he was at the strip club with Drake, well, they said they spent $1 million on strippers, wherever that may have been, and found out that people had died. At that point, I think it was 8 people had died. He was like, what, from ODs? I read that somewhere. I just can't remember where. But he was like, oh, I thought it was from ODs. You mean they actually got killed? They got crushed? They got stomped on? What? This is a whole different thing. I thought they just died from ODs. Like, what? But to say now, minutes before the press conference?
Happened, even after the show, you're just kind of hearing things, but
what are you hearing and why are you not concerned? And you didn't just kind of hear things. You stopped the show with your yeah, remember that? And then you watched them drag someone out of you stopped the show to ask security, whoa, there's someone passed out there. Could you maybe get them out? when the ambulance came in, you said, "What the F is that?" But you were hearing things. No, you're also seeing things. You had a bird's eye view.
You don't know, I didn't know the exact details until, minutes before the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that moment, you kind of just like, wait, what? Like,
So all of us knew, but he didn't know. Wait, what? Okay.
You just went through something and it's just like, wait, what?
What did you just go through? You just went through something, and then you're like, what? No, you did not go through anything. You had a concert, you had fun, you did your thing, but 10 people died. They went through something.
So you didn't know people that actually passed away and stuff?
Nah.
Wow.
Until minutes before, which is, yeah, and the thing is like, people pass out, people, things happen at concerts, but something like that, it's just like.
Yeah, people said they
Right, okay.
collectively heard folks screaming help every time you stopped the song to get your attention. Did you hear any of those screams?
Nah, man. And it's so crazy.
Nah, man. Never heard any of those. Really? You didn't see someone jump on the stage and try to stop the concert? No cameraman, no production person said that? You didn't put in your code that you should call dead people Smurfs? Wow.
Crazy, because I'm that artist too. Like, anytime you can hear something like that, you want to stop the show. You want to make sure, fans get the proper attention they need,
Do you? They get the proper attention they need. People were being peed on, man, at this concert. People that were passed out were being peed on.
And anytime I could see anything like that, I did, I stopped like a couple times to just make sure everybody was okay. And I just really just go off the,
By saying, put your middle finger to the sky if you're feeling okay.
the fans' energy as a collective, call and response. And I just didn't hear that. I got music, I got my in-ears, but I just didn't hear that,
Break that down a little more. Like nobody knows what it's like being on stage except for other artists. So speak to us from that perspective of what you can see and hear. It was like, what, 50,000 people?
Yeah, I mean, you got like a venue, filled with like 50,000 people. But it's like a sea. You got lights, you got sound, you got pyro, you got your in-ears, you got your sound, got your mic, got the music, you got band, just all type of,
Like you literally just listed the same thing like 3 times in 3 different forms, but I get it.
stuff going on.
So it's hard to tell excitement from danger, so to speak?
Yeah, of course. Everything kind of just sounds the same. And at the end of the day, you just hear music, and when you do, you just hear amongst of things, But when you're in a show, you just enter the show, and anytime you can feel anything close to you, you try to like definitely get to that.
So as an artist, how much can you actually, I guess, help in that position?
You can only help what you can see, you know what I mean?
If that's true, that's a flaw in the system. You can only help what you can see. There's got to be someone that can give the message to the artist that can say, listen, people are dying, or listen, this is out of control, we've got to stop the show, or whatever it is. I know they were scared of riots, I get it. That could have happened based on this crowd, maybe, in the state everyone was in, maybe. But that's quite hectic to think that you have to rely on just what you see. Like, how could they see the whole crowd?
And then, whatever you told, you know what I'm saying? Whenever somebody tell you to stop, you just stop. But just wasn't it.
It wasn't that night, huh? Raging has been a part of the culture, of your shows. You didn't on this night, but in the past, you've encouraged, I guess, the kind of energy that could have led to something like this happening. Do you think that contributed to the energy of this night?
Yeah, I think, it's something I've been working.
You don't think it contributed at all to bring the rage to this night? Nah, he says nah.
On, for a while, of just creating these experiences and trying to show like the experiences happening in a safe environment. Us as artists, we trust, professionals to make sure that, things happen and people leave, safely, you know what I'm saying? And this night was just like a regular show, it felt like to me. as far as like, you know, the energy, people, it didn't feel like it was like, you know, people didn't show up there to just be harmful.
Mm-hmm.
People just, I think, showed up to have a good time, and then, you know, something unfortunate happened. And I think we really just got to figure out, you know, what that was, you know?
Does raging make it harder to identify when something is going wrong in the crowd?
Well, I think, you know, raging is just you know, they have a textbook, you know, definition, but, you know, in concerts, we've grown it to be just an experience of having fun. It's not about just, harm. Mm-hmm. It's not about that.
I think the word rage is pretty much a universal word. Bring the rage. Bring the wild ones in. That just means have a good time? I don't know, man. It's got a different vibe to it.
It's about just letting go and having fun. You know, help others, you know, love each other. It's not about just, you know, harm.
If rage is associated with anger, the word, right? In a state of rage or anger, it's very hard to love and help others. You know what I mean. You've experienced it.
Mm-hmm. That's not what it's all about. The show isn't just rambunctious for an hour. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not what it is. You know?
Oh, trust me, I grew up on crunk. Yeah. So, you know, I understand. You know, you don't want it to get too out of hand.
Yeah, but you know, the energy is high, you know, mm-hmm. and you know, that's why you want to just make sure that, you know, people are surrounded, to make sure that people are just having the best experience. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't say the energy is high, but you know, you make sure that people are there for people to have like the best experience and leave. You know?
Yeah, you want people to have a good time. You don't want people to get hurt
at all.
Yeah, and you know, God forbid, pass away. And you know, it's
just interesting when you look at the floor. Yeah, at all.
Typical for you to stop a show to make sure fans in the crowd get the help, you know, they need. There's even footage of that night of you doing that during the set. Were you unable to sense like a difference in urgency this time around?
I mean, yeah, because, you know, you stop the show, but, you know, you know, if something's going to happen, if it's something detrimental, somebody's going to let you know, or, you know, the show will just stop.
Will it, though? And what about the ambulance that tried to drive into the crowd? I can't even say drove into the crowd to help people. People were jumping on that ambulance. But what about that? When you saw that, isn't that a sign of some kind of danger? I don't know. I'm not putting all the blame on him. I'm just saying, let's nitpick this just a little bit, because no, we are thinking about the victims. We got to think about them. That's what we've got to keep in mind. And if your family member was one of these victims, do you want the person whose concert it was to take no accountability?
And, you know, that just wasn't the case. You know, I just kind of stopped the show. You know, you just ask, you have a call and response with the fans. You try to, you know, generally get a response, but, you know, if you don't get like a hard stop, you know, it's just, you can't, you just go off of what's going on, you know, which makes it so like, so crazy, because like, you know, if I feel like if, you know, anyone would have known, it would have just been like, it wouldn't have got that far, you know. Mm-hmm.
But they can't just stop because they were worried about riots. So we know this already, and we know that they made a safety code in which they said, don't just put on the radio that there's people that have died or are dying. Use a code word. The code word was Smurfs. There was a whole safety protocol on what to do and when. And as the Houston police chief said, it's not just one person responsible, and it isn't just Travis Scott. So he's actually not saying the truth here, because it isn't up to Travis Scott to stop the show, only him. It isn't up to one single person. It's a group decision. And that is all organized beforehand. You know? So it's not just him with a mic, like interacting with the fans and be like, yo, do you want to stop the show? Are you good? Oh, you all want to stop the show. It's just, it doesn't work like that.
What headspace were you in when you posted that initial response video?
I mean, it was, I think it had to have been the night of, you know? So I was just in a headspace of just trying to get a communication out to my fans, you know? I had little to no information, you know? So I was just trying to figure it out and just communicate to them, you know? yeah, I was just reacting just literally just to get something to the fans. You know, it's people that showed up.
Do you regret that initial video?
I just wanted to put something out, just quickly, just give something to the fans, basically, is what he's saying. But, like, why? And I'm going to just check now here. Travis Scott. We're going to look. He said it was probably the night of, but was it or wasn't it? Wait, this is like a very popular search term. Travis Scott apology. Oh my word. There's so many of them. I'll get to it.
Video? Do you regret reacting in that way, or not having all the information before you said something?
I mean, yeah, because, you know, you just don't know what's going on. But at the end of the day, I don't, you know, I just wanted to get something out. You know, how my message came out, I can't, you know, I can only go off what I know. But my true intent.
Do you regret it? Doesn't really sound like it. I just want to go there. Wasn't it on his channel? Oh, I think it was on Instagram, right?
Pictures of it, you know, was really just trying to get a message across, and, you know, really wanted to just touch to the fans, touch to the families, you know, that we here, we grieving, and we'll get through this, you know, through this process.
So what did you know in that first video?
We're here. We're grieving. Are you grieving, though? Were you at all? My goodness. I can't find exactly when he posted it now. But it wasn't the night of. It was the next night, right?
I mean, at that time, I think we just knew that, you know, people pass. You know, we didn't know how. You know, that it was, you know, the news. You know, I think police came out and said something. You know, you're just going off of what you're seeing in the news. You know, you don't really know nothing. And then as the days go on, you start collecting a little bit more information.
It sounds like a YouTuber is not really covering a case very well, right? Except that he's the artist of this concert. Like, you should know. And if the police are talking, of course they're talking to you. No, I don't buy that. That it's just like, no, you just see what the news is saying and you actually have no idea. You know, it's your concert.
They said there was like chaos and trampling being reported since the early afternoon, like hours before the show even started. Were
Since 9 in the morning.
you informed of any of that ahead of time?
Well, no, like, you know, the police, he came and to my trailer, and he, you know, he congratulated me on, you know, the event and, you know, having something like this in Houston. He let me know that it was, you know, mishap at the merch booth earlier. You know, they shut it down, but they opened it back up. They seemed to got it under control. You know, he was gonna step out and just let us know if we need anything, you know, have a good show.
Okay, interesting.
That's it.
You know, a lot of the criticism, you know, from the tragedy, they say, is in the poor planning and understaffing of the event. As an artist, do you have any involvement in any of that?
Well, I mean, we just do, as an artist, you just do the creative. And for this being my festival, you know, I got, you know, bring artists, you know, creatively produce it. And, you know, we just trust in the, you know, the professionals to kind of just make sure that, you know, people, you know, are taken care of and, you know, leaving safely. You know,
So on one hand, you're telling us that you're the guy that can look at the crowd. It's up to you to interact with your fans to stop the show. But as for everything else, all the organizing, security, everything else, that's not you. You do creative, and then what? Getting other artists? I don't think he does that either. I think that would be up to whoever, the marketing team, PR, whatever, to get other artists. Booking other people, the event organizers. I don't think Travis Scott is like calling up people, maybe, but not all of them, to say like, would you perform here and this is your time slot. There'll obviously be people. He's not an event coordinator. He is an artist, but to say that, to even try to explain what he thinks his role in this is, no.
can control what I can on the stage, and then, you know, you have the professionals control what they can in the crowd, you know? It's just hard, because as an artist, you know, you want to have like the best shows, and you want to have the best experiences, and you know, you link with professionals.
Every artist wants that. And as we've made videos before of what other bands have done in the past, when something goes wrong in the crowd, how they've reacted or what the protocol could be. Of course, everyone wants it to be a good experience.
Professionals to handle that side of it, you know, and then, you know.
And who are the professionals? The security you hired for $50 a day or whatever it was, $150 a day, was it? Shame. They still didn't even get paid. But just like people off the street, not even proper security companies, safety should be number one.
You know, you want to know what's going on. I think that's what we got to figure out, you know, and figure out what happened there, how it happened, you know.
You spoke on the Houston police chief. His name is Troy Finner. He came to you, and he said he voiced concerns over the crowd energy. So what did you and your team like do with that information? What you got?
Well, I think that's what the media, said, but I think it read to more so that he wanted us to. He knew that our crowd was, you know, the type of crowd that comes. It comes at a heavy crowd. So to communicate with him if we were doing anything outside of the week's itinerary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That week we were doing like a lot of charity stuff prior to the festival. So, you know, there's security at most of the events, but, you know, he was just letting us, you know, I guess in that statement, he was just saying if we do anything outside of what we had on our itinerary, let him know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was seeing concern that morning with how people were injuring themselves already just trying to get in and try to get to the merch stand. I don't think he's talking about the week and the itinerary. I don't think so, based on what he said. Remember, we analyzed that whole interview too.
But, you know, we didn't even get to that point.
You know, it's crazy, just, you know, being here kicking it with you for a little bit, like I can see that, you know, this is weighing real heavy on you.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't see it. Can you see it? Let me know.
So how much do you feel a sense of responsibility for what happened that night?
Well, you know, fans come to the show and have a good experience, you know. And I have a responsibility to figure out what happened here. I have a responsibility to figure out the solution. And, you know, and I gotta, and hopefully this takes a first step into, you know, us as artists, you know, having that more insight of what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
If they had caught Brian Laundrie alive, I feel like this is how it would have gone. That's all I'm gonna say.
And
like, yeah, I just want to figure out what happened there. What would have happened out there? I don't even know. I just feel like it would have gone like that. Oh my word.
You know, the professionals to kind of, you know, surround and figure out more of an intel, whether it's tech, whether it's, you know, more of a response, whether it's whatever the problem is, you know, to figure out that in the future moving forward in concert safety, make sure it just never happen again, you know?
But let's talk about those professionals.
Yeah, let's talk about those professionals.
You know, like how much responsibility do you think like Live Nation and Score More, the promoters, have in all of this?
I mean, you know, they do their job of, you know, setting these things up. So, I mean, I think, you know, they when we dial into what, you know, specifically happened here, I feel like, you know, even they can kind of help, you know, figure out what happened.
I think they're trying to figure out who's going to pay what. That's all I hear.
In a sense. You know, but at the end of the day, I think collectively, everyone needs to just figure out the bottom line solution. But, you know, especially in concert safety, you know, definitely got to have, you know, make sure that, you know, these things are, you know, done right.
You think these festivals are too big, man? 50,000 people is a lot of people for anybody to control.
Yeah, there are festivals that are bigger, you know, way bigger. And, you know, I just think it's not about the maximum of it. I think it's about the attention to what's going on and how it's going on. And as long as that's handled, I feel like, you know, things can be, you know, can go okay, will be okay, you know. But if you look at it through the history of festivals, you know, this isn't the first time happening. There's been a long history of this, you know. So I feel like if you look at the overall.
So if there's been a long history of this, why do you have to figure out what to do and what the solution is? Then clearly there's a pattern and you can learn from it already. I think security and medical staff, more proper, functional security from reputable companies, trained people, that could help. Oh my word.
You know, view it at and you kind of like dial in, okay, what could we do better to fix this overall for general concert safety? I think we figure out the problem, you know, and make it better for people to have better live experiences.
Live Nation.
To have better live experiences? People died. It's almost like you're saying, oh, the experience sucked for some people because, man, people died. I'm so sad about the experience that sucked for those people because, man, people died. He's not talking really about the people who died. It feels like he's talking about that the experience wasn't like this 5-star experience based on this inconvenient tragedy happening. That's what it feels like. Let me know what you think.
Reportedly agreed to end the concert early after the Houston PD and the fire department declared it a mass casualty event, but the concert continued for another 40 minutes. Was there ever any communication to you on stage that you should end this?
Well, yeah, I mean, they just told me right after, you know, the guests get off stage, you know, we're going to end the show, you know, and that's what we did. You know, other than that, there was no other communication, you know.
Oh, so you mean after the guests? What you mean?
Yeah, after the guest comes out,
okay,
we're going to end the show. But it wasn't communication on why, you know, it was just, you know, that's what.
You mean Drake? Which is your final bit. After the guest comes out, we're going to end the show. Yes, because that's when you plan to end the show.
Came through my ears, you know.
Oh, so they didn't say stop now?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
No.
Wow. Do you feel like people are forcing more responsibility on you because you are the front man, because it was Astroworld?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm the face of the festival. You know, I'm an artist. You know, so yeah, you know, the media is, you know, they want to, you know, put it on me. But at the end of the day, it's like.
But you said you're the one that has to sit and figure out a solution, right? So if you're going to be the one talking like a police chief or whatever, that you have to just think about this and find a way to wrap your head around this and find a solution, then how can you not be responsible then? Do you know what I mean? He's like in and out with responsibility. It's quite frustrating.
Like, I don't think it's more so about that. I think it's more so about stepping up to figure out what the problem is. And I could take that. Mm-hmm. I could take, you know, stepping up to figure out what the problem is. I could take stepping into figuring out the solution that never happened again. Because that's what I generally want to do in general, even just for my community, you know. Mm-hmm. The whole idea for why I brought this festival to the city was to, you know, show that Houston is something different. You know, and show that there's all different types of lives, there's all different type of energy, and just bring that morale to the city.
What is he even talking about? He wants to hold his wild concert / festival. The festival includes carnivals and charity events leading up to this concert. It's got friggin' Ferris wheels and stuff, inviting kids in as well. That's why there were kids at this. You're blurring lines of where adults should be and where children should be and all that. Right, because you want to bring this to Houston so that people can learn that there's all different types of energy, all different walks of life. But I thought there's only one culture, the Travis Scott culture, in this concert, because that's how it works when you're an artist and people follow you. And that you tell them to bring the rage, and they brought it. Oh, they brought the rage. It's just, now he's talking like a wannabe president. You know, I just brought different energies and different walks of life, and I brought this to the city like I brought Houston a favor. Do you know what I mean?
And just bring that energy to the city. So I definitely want to, you know, step in to figure out, you know, how can we fix this in the future? What can we do to
never have another Astroworld?
You know, change these things, you know?
Do you feel like you did everything you possibly could to help in that situation?
Yes. Anything I physically can, for sure, yes.
Yes, anything I physically can. Physically. Not mentally, not emotionally, not financially, not spiritually, physically. I did everything I physically could. Physically, I had to run off the stage and go and have an after party. And then, over Thanksgiving, play golf with Mark Wahlberg and Michael Jordan. I did everything I physically could.
You know, and it just, you know, if knowing, you know, what's going on, you know, you would just wish, you know,
What would you wish?
if you, you know, could have done something better, or, you know, but standing there, 1000%.
You know, we know that the families of the people who passed are definitely watching this right now. And you know, there's nothing you could say to heal the trauma these families who lost loved ones are going through. But being that you know they're watching, what would you say to them directly?
I'll say to them that I'm always here, and that, you know,
Oh, they know, and they don't want that. But you could start with, I'm very, very sorry for your loss.
you know, I'm in this with you guys, and I love you, you know, and
Okay, my rage meter's going up. The pet peeves are going up. Now you love them? Damn, that escalated quickly, huh? From just about no emotion, there's no depth of emotion, to now I love them. No, 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 no. How about, what will you say to the families? I'm so sorry this happened. It'll never happen again. Next time I'll make sure there's massive, I don't know what, security. I don't know. This is how I'm going to do better. But mostly, I'm so sorry for your loss. Not, I'll always be here and I love you. No, 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 no. Generally, I'm not saying this is him, but have you met parasites in life? Parasitic people. They say that. I'll always be here and I love you. And you're like, get off me, leech. I'll always be here though. Like, no, no, no. Oh my word.
I'll always, you know, be there to help you guys heal through this. And
They don't want it. I can tell you now, Travis, they don't want it. Get away from them. Just say you're sorry and leave them alone.
I understand that they're going through, you know, they're grieving right now, and they're finding understanding right now. And, you know, it's not just like a right now thing, it's a for everything. Mm-hmm. And these people that came to the show, they are my family. And I've always had that connection to the people I feel like that listen to the music or came to my shows. And that's why I really...
Interjection is not healthy. It doesn't matter on any level, it's just not healthy. To have strangers who practically worship you for what you do, that's not your family, that's your cult. And I know a lot about cults, unfortunately. And that's what they tell you. We're family. To me, family is quite the F word. Because it's like, people abuse it a lot. And they're like, we're family. Like, really? Saying his fans are his family? Well, what about your actual family? What does your wife, your girlfriend think about this? Your daughter, huh? Your mom, your dad, your uncles, your aunts, grandparents? If you're saying your fans are your family, that shows me there is some mental health work to be done. Because as I've told you, Grizzlies, the internet is not a safe place. It's not a place to be like, oh my word, you're my family. Like, you guys, I appreciate you. I love the support. Thank you so much. We're here together, thinking out loud. But never feel too comfortable and too safe with people who all you know about them. And this comes from a wise friend of mine. You know who you are. All you know about them is that they have an internet connection. That's it. That's all you know. No matter how much you talk to them or what they say or where they live or what they're doing or that they're pouring their whole heart and soul out to you, all you know really about someone is that they have an internet connection and you're interacting over the internet. So to say to people who are buying your tickets, they're my family. Well, they're paying to be your family. And to me already, that's abusive. Oh man, I could nitpick that whole thing in so many different layers. But I'll just move on from there. I'm just saying, watch your mental health and make sure you actually establish safe spaces for yourself. And I truly think that's what Travis Scott needs. Therapy and boundary setting and rules and maturity and to figure out what family really is.
You know, it's really hard on me even just, you know, to even like, you know, man, even.
Oh no. Have you guys ever seen Jeffree Star? Have you seen him try to do an apology or show emotion? It's very funny. He can't do it, but he tries very hard. That's what I'm feeling over here. I also want to say, when I was saying he's got to figure out what family is, no, I'm not in contact with my mom or my dad or my father-in-law or my mother-in-law or any family. I'm allergic to family based on my experience of family in this world. I'm 37 years old, and what I've experienced from family, I don't want it. I'd rather have nothing. So my family is Mr. Grizzly, Fury, and Hannah. That's my family. Now, what are we over here? Yeah, we're a community. The goal is to keep it safe, to keep it grizzly, to keep it classy, to connect somewhat over personal interests, over common interests, right? But mostly it's for, I suppose, entertainment. And it's something that we all have in common. This is like kind of like a hobby. We like to talk about this. I like to facilitate this conversation. It's great, right? But family? I know a thing or two about toxic family. That's what I'm saying. And as I said, I'd rather have a clean slate than any toxicity. And I know what it feels like to be like, this is my family. And it's not. Those fans, well, then your family just killed each other, isn't it? By stomping on each other and peeing on each other. So think about that for a second. By the culture that you created, by getting them to pay for seeing you rage and sing lyrics which are inappropriate for children. Wow, I'm really honored tonight, aren't I?
Because they end up they lost their loved ones, So it it's tough.
Okay.
And I just want to always just be there for them, and just always just be able to just know that I'm gonna fix this for the future people, and
No, BS meters going up.
fix the solution, and fix this problem.
Fix the solution. Fixing the problem. It's quite sad to think of people dying as a problem, isn't it? That needs a solution. Just the way he talks about it, it's very callous. It's like, oh, that's a problem I need to fix so that I can have future concerts so that this never happens again. Could we maybe, just for half a year, 5 years, a year, whatever time, just not talk about future concerts? This is not the time or place to talk about future concerts. This is the time and place to say, I'm really sorry for what happened.
And find a solution to making sure that this doesn't happen in the future. And definitely be a number one voice for this,
You're gonna be a number one voice for this? Oh, no. Please don't. Oh, no. I'll rather just let my thoughts mull around here so I don't say right now what I'm thinking, but no, don't do that.
Because that, I feel like that's like one of the, what we gotta figure out.
Okay, I'm gonna say what I'm thinking. When I read the Jeffrey Dahmer book, do you remember, if any of you read it, but even if you've seen Jeffrey Dahmer, his statement in court, he was all about helping future people, helping people understand, people like him who just kill all these people and eat them. I mean, we've got to figure this out. It's a problem and we need a solution. That's what I'm thinking is going on here. It just feels like, oh, no. Don't be the voice for that. Like Jeffrey Dahmer was trying to be the voice for, I don't know what. It's inappropriate.
Because other than that, it's like, the show goes on tomorrow, or, something goes.
Does it though? I don't think it's going on. With the amount of lawsuits he's facing, there's no show actually going on tomorrow. So I wonder if this interview is really a way of trying to show the show will go on, but maybe it really won't.
How does this get fixed?
This could happen again. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a father. You know, God forbid when your kids are of age, if they're in a situation like this, you know, I want you to put yourself in those parents' shoes right now. What would you want to see come of this situation if you?
I want to.
Let me guess. I want a solution to be found. I want this problem to be fixed. I want to know that they're safe, and I want them to have a good experience. Let's see.
See people put their heads together. I want to see people really figure this out, not take this lightly, you know, and really act on it. And that's, you know, that's one of the main things that's important. I feel like they gotta just act on it. It can't just be like something that happens and it just roll over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the description of trauma. You know what I mean? If he's just like, if he's been through a lot of stuff, and for instance, as an example, speculatively, his primary caregivers as a kid maybe just let things just roll over and they just didn't act on it. Maybe that's what he's projecting right now. But what he's saying right here is inappropriate given the situation. People can't put their heads together and then act on it and think about it. He said, the question is very direct. Put yourself in those parents' shoes. What do you want to see happen? What, now the parents have got to put all their heads together and everyone's got to think about like how can we prevent this from happening? No. Oh my word.
We got to be something that's taken serious and addressed seriously, and things formed around it.
I'm now saying big words to sound like a very, very mature adult. It's not even big words. I'm just saying we've got to take it seriously. We've got to act on it seriously. Got to put our heads together to be serious about it. Yeah.
Time and a lot of time and a lot of, you know, thinking power spent on this, you know, and really fixing, you know, whatever system it is that needs
Told you that's what he's gonna say.
to be fixed, you know.
And no, I haven't seen this part yet. This is where I got up to last, just 2 minutes before this. Exactly. What would you want to see happen? Oh, yeah, fixing, solutions, heads together, just fix the problem. It's just all the same nonsense.
From the lawsuits to the media coverage, do you feel like you're personally under attack?
I mean, yeah, you see a name in it and shit, and it's like, but you know, at the end of the day, you step in these, you know, you step and you want to do a festival, and you know, when you want to do things and you want to build up, you know, it comes with certain things, right? So I think it's all about how you respond to it, and I think it's all about how you react, right? So.
And you think you're responding and reacting correctly? Got a long way to go.
I could feel that way, but I think more so about, it's more about how I feel about the response that I care about more so, which is.
I care more about how I appear, seeing as the media is slating me left and right. I care about my appearance now, so I'm going to appear this way. That's what I'm hearing. But let me know if I'm deaf or hearing wrong.
You know, actually, you know, trying to step in and, you know, really step up to really fixing what's happening and really step up for the safety of concert goers or people in just live spaces, period.
I wonder, is there a way to even prepare for this? Because nobody, like you said, when you're doing the planning for a show like this, nobody is planning for this to happen. So how do you even prepare for something like this to happen?
I don't know, and I feel like when it comes out a little bit more how this could have happened, I feel like that's how we can kind of attack that. But even I was thinking in ways like tech solutions. You know, people come into these festivals with these bands that only scan you in, right? You have all type of tech now that can track your.
Now you want to talk about tech solutions. How about limiting the capacity and making sure, like in Times Square when the ball drops on New Year's, that you've actually got like pens. It doesn't sound great, but pens to keep people separated and apart and limit the capacity. How about never having a concert that size again? But see, he will never say that. He wants it bigger and better because he mentions there's actually festivals out there that are even bigger. And I'm sure he's aiming to get there.
The heart could track your, oxygen levels, could track if you're gonna be sick. You can put things now if you're gonna be, get lost.
Who's going to be paying for all that tech? The tech sure exists. It's existed for many, many years, but who's paying for it? At the end of the day, that's the question. There's a lot of cool things that are in the world that people cannot afford for mass concerts. This guy could not even afford proper security companies. Now he's talking about tech. Armbands that meant monitor oxygen levels. Okay, but when 50,000 people's oxygen levels are low because you're overcapacitated, what are you going to do then?
There's all type of ways now. I feel like that can be the band that only gets you access to entry or to a food line or to food trucks can now be solvable to helping save lives,
Wow, what a pitch for that tech. Talking out of his you-know-what. Oh my word. Yes, and even with those armbands the people had on, there were others, the wild ones that you helped to get in, they got in. Armbands or not.
Can now be more of a response to people that are now on site and on ground. I feel like that could be a way, or even just figuring out what the exact solution, what the exact problem of it was.
Overcapacitation, crowd crushing, bringing the rage, the culture that you've built, the community that you've built, the spirit of it all.
And dialing more into that, I think you can.
Blending children's stuff and adult stuff. Little carnival, friggin' Ferris wheel rides and charity events, and then a very morbid looking concert after that. Boundaries, bro. It's boundaries. I'm just going to summarize it all as boundaries. It's not about tech. It's about boundaries. It's about capacity, organization, paying top dollar for security.
I feel like there is a way. I just think it needs to be time spent on figuring that out.
Have you been able to have any personal conversations with any of the families who lost loved ones?
I was able to, but I just want to just respect the privacy of the conversation.
You swallowed big there, huh? I was able to, but actually I just wanted to respect their privacy. It means you didn't. I was able to, but I didn't because I wanted to respect their privacy. You mean you were able to and they told you to get the hell away from them, or what?
And I'm thankful for them.
Very defensive posture right now.
Even allowing me to have the conversation. So, yeah.
Side note, I'm not a body language expert. I just do love body language and studying communication and all that. It's not an exact science. It's just interesting. And one note I want to make for all the Grizzlies is that you cannot look at someone look to the left and therefore they're lying, or someone smirked just a little bit and therefore you got to look at a cluster. That's how body language experts work, right? Look at the cluster. You can't just look at one thing and be like, So I'm just saying this whole cluster that he's got going on here now, everything about it is like, oh, you're looking a little bit defensive there, bro.
How did you feel when some of the families rejected your offer to pay for the funerals?
All things are understandable, and at a time.
Oh, I feel a little bit of aggression coming out.
They're grieving and they're trying to find understanding, and they want answers, and it's not about that. I'm always gonna be here, to want to help them. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want it.
And it's not gonna I gotta continue to just show up for that. I just want to make
No, boundaries and leave them alone. It's appropriate.
sure that they knew that I was there for them. And continue to be there for them. I think that's just more so what it's about for that. Yeah.
Some people say your music played a role in this. Like I've seen them, cite lyrics, that encourage this kind of behavior. I've seen them say your music is demonic and this was a satanic ritual. You?
It's a demonic, satanic ritual. Pretty much. It was a little bit morbid. It was quite hectic, especially given everything we've just been through, guys, as humanity for the last 2 years or more, right? Everyone's just dying to get out and just be a little bit apocalyptic, might I say. Wild. Getting out like freaking savages. Like to then on top of that be like, bring the rage and make your concert like that in the dark on the darkest night of the freaking month. Wow.
You think your music is to blame?
I mean, no. I'm a man of God. So that's the first thing first.
I am not religious. If you didn't know that, I am not. But I have studied a lot about religion based on, cult knowledge and all kinds of stuff. So, no. He's a man of God? I don't know if you're portraying that. I'm not sure people are reading you correctly, just based on the imagery you use, the things you say, how you treat others. I'm not feeling it. Are you feeling it? And what God? There's so many religions. I'm a man of God. Really? Which one? Because we're not feeling it. If you mean Christian, I'm not feeling it.
So it's just, yeah, that's that.
I'm a man of God, so yeah, that's that. Okay, no, that's not that. Could you answer the question?
And, your music is just like self-expression, you know what I'm saying? And
People can also express themselves like Dahmer did. Yes, I'm not saying Travis Scott is like Dahmer. I'm just saying he was also expressing himself. And at some point he was also a man of God. Amazing also how many of those I'm referring to serial killers because it just comes to mind just with the mentality when I've just watched so many interrogation tapes, of course, of serial killers because I wrote books on serial killers. And so when I watch them and they try to explain themselves, it just feels a lot like this where you're like, what are you really trying to say though? And so with a lot of them, they're like, I'm a man of God. And I'm like, oh my word. All of them are. Apparently all of them are going to be in freaking heaven because they're all just like, oh my word, I'm a man of God. I was really just expressing myself like, oh no. Could you not express yourself that way anymore though? Because he's still talking about future expressions of himself that way. No. No.
At these shows, I feel like people kind of like look at things, and if you've been to a Travis show, it's been different layers of shows,
Mm-hmm.
I think people are just, misconceptions and taking.
Oh, like walking through your skull, like a dead version of you. There was also a dead statue of him. Do you know what I mean? A statue of him represented as dead. There was the whole thing of going through the portal, the little blue men going through the door and coming out the other side as devils. It's not like little blue men and then they come out on the other side red and now people speculate maybe it's devils. No, they had devil horns. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't go too far and wide with that. I mean, I can, but I don't. I bring the logical approach to it all. And I'm just like, okay, he's expressing himself in a certain way that definitely looks satanic and morbid. But to say that people are misconstruing it, it's very obvious. It's in your face. There's skulls everywhere. There's the friggin' portal of your stage. There's the merch you had on. There's you saying in your new song that you released that night that people would die for the chain around your neck.
They're seeing and all type of things, and I've took pride in trying to grow from where I was when I first recorded music to now where I'm going in music. So
where are you going in music at this point? Where are you going? It's amazing how he still thinks he doesn't think that his future is at all affected as an artist, which I find quite amazing, because if something small goes wrong in some artist's life or YouTubers or whatever, it's like a complete meltdown. You're like, oh my word, I'm gonna lose everything. You've seen that happen, you've seen it on YouTube, you've seen it with other artists, celebrities, but this guy, he's just like, oh yeah, for my future albums. What?
So yeah, I just think people gotta, and that's one thing with me, is just people gotta kind of you know, experience it sometimes. And I think that's what it was. You know, people were kind of like, even before, people were hearing about it, they come and experience it and taking away their own thing. And it's always going to be an outside opinion. But, you know, for the ones that, you know, really believe in me and, you know, understand what I'm about and what I'm doing, no, that's not what I'm, you know, preaching. I always preach like love, always preach understanding, always preach, you know, take care of your loved ones, love each other, you know what I'm saying? Get out.
What does that have to do with a concert? And why are you preaching? Because you're sure not preaching any of that when you're singing Goosebumps or Escape Plan or any other song you've got.
Your ideas, never let yourselves be stopped, you know? Love one another and step into that, you know?
I mean, I think that's a part of it, but the music does encourage people to be violent at these shows.
I mean,
That's what the rage is about.
I mean,
nice, bring it, bro, bring it, say. People, I like how it's just like, yeah, okay. But I think that the good one, I love that.
most of the music is me sometimes talking about what I see at the shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I'm talking about the shows, you know, and so that's just, you know, the energy, you know what I'm saying? But the energy isn't to come and start, you know, being ultra violent and just being violent and hurting each other. That's not what it's about.
Then do tell us what it is about, Travis. What is it about? When you say bring the rage, and when you say put your middle finger up if you're feeling good, all this stuff, whatever. But specifically, if you say bring the rage, tell us what energy you want people to bring. Because I don't think they're associating it correctly then based on what you think it is. You're you're saying, I believe it's like this and that's what I want them to bring. Clearly the message isn't getting through to them. They're bringing the rage.
So it's more so supposed to be entertainment.
Yeah, everything is, you know, and it's about what you experience at the shows and what you see, you know.
Will this change the
What do you experience and see?
content of your music moving forward, you think?
You know, what happened here wasn't off Travis Scott music. That wasn't, oh, now you need to like.
I like Charlamagne's face. Right.
Switch up. No, I mean, I've made all different type of music in the first place, you know.
Did you though?
I never was just like one lane or one genre of anything.
I think you were one lane and one genre.
In the first place. So I just think it's all about experiences, and I feel like, you know, it could be music to come out of it. Lyricism, just emotion, you know, music.
Lyricism, emotion, strategy, fixing the problem. They should say random words.
Music is emotion, you know, and music is healing.
Not the music you make. Your music keeps you in a traumatized state. And maybe that's why I keep on thinking of serial killers, because what happens is when you have trauma as a child, sometimes you'll internalize that trauma, right? Now, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to do a Dahmer and just continue to reenact it, which actually keeps you living in the trauma? You keep the trauma alive, thinking that, yeah, now I've got power over this person and I'm inflicting this on them and now it's gone. No, you're keeping the trauma wheel turning. And I feel like that's what Travis Scott is doing. He definitely, in my opinion, has significant trauma in his past. As a child, that's what I'm thinking. His background has some significant trauma. And he's expressing his rage, which is a healthy thing to do, but not in this way. Not to involve and build you cannot build an entire community on rage. You know what I mean? I've done that on a micro level, you know, expressing certain things. I've had multiple Instagram accounts and like expressing my rage and building a whole community around that. It's not healthy, I can tell you that now. And that's on a tiny little micro level compared to what he's doing here. And I just feel like he's saying music is healing and it's lyrical and it's this. Yes, for you, as in it's a personal thing then. But to build a community based on your trauma, and the reason I say that and speculate that is also because he needed to have Astroworld, the name, and have it there at Astroworld, a park that he went to as a child. He loved it. It was one of his favorite parks. That's what he said. Okay, so you just take the name, make it your own, make the album Astroworld, and then have to have the concert there as well. 3 in a row. And he wanted this one to be 2 days. So it was just getting bigger, escalating more and more. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it can be healing to revisit speculatively a place of your trauma. Don't involve anyone else, though, while you're going through that healing process. I do believe he needs to heal from things. But leave everyone else alone. You can't take hundreds of thousands of people with you. And if they resonate on the same trauma, I understand that relating is something. It can be healthy to relate to others. However, it must be done in a safe space. And a nighttime concert where half the people are drunk or high is not a safe space. They're not even in the headspace to process whatever they're resonating with you on. Do you know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense.
And, you can just find healing and find emotion, in that, and just more progressive. Everything I'm trying to do is just more progressive.
You said you're a man of God, and when I
don't think it's more progressive. I think it's escalating.
even said that, they say your music is satanic, I saw the face that you made. Where do you think that even comes from? Travis Scott is satanic, Travis Scott is demonic.
I just think it's just things people collect. People look at the internet and they just collect and they look at things and they look at visuals, and you have all these theorists and people just thinking they're looking at visuals and don't understand, just the idea of.
Then help us understand. Why have you got the phoenix rising from the ashes? I understand that, but just like the little blue man and the devil horns and the skull and the progression, as you say, of your concerts going from semi-tame, sort of, hardly, but then just escalating, becoming more and more and more morbid, more and more violent. Like, why? What does it mean then? If people are misinterpreting it, then you tell us what it means. Break it down for us.
Like what art may be or what you're trying to do, they're just making up your own message. Especially when you're not out there like yelling the message all the time. It's just, yeah.
And when they say this is a community event, Astroworld.
Yeah,
so they say a community event is a satanic ritual. How does that?
Yeah, that's
make
like
you feel?
it's crazy because it's like I do this for people to have a good time. We have rides, we have games. It's things for people to get off creative experiences. It's not the shows that.
A ride is not a creative experience. A game is not really a creative experience. I mean, it can be, but not really. A ride is a creative experience. Then you don't know what creating is. Then you're just facilitating violence and thrill and adrenaline. You're facilitating adrenaline. Maybe that's what he means by bring the rage. He means bring the adrenaline.
At the end of the day, it's like, and that show is just something based on what's, just things, it's not like, what? Like, why would we wake up one day and just trying to, that's just evil is not what we're a part of. We're not trying to be a part of that. We're trying to be a part of joy. Trying to be a part of.
Joy? Do you get the sense of joy from his concerts? Is anyone smiling? Are they happy? They don't look happy. They don't look happy or mentally healthy. I'm just going to say it like that. Shame. I feel empathy for a lot of people there because I'm like, I don't think he knows what joy is. That's the truth. I don't think his lack of depth of emotion includes not having a feeling of joy. I don't know if he's ever felt joy. And I'm just speculating. This is my personal opinion. Because to even pair the word joy to that concert is quite something. That's about power. It's about adrenaline. It's about rage. And as he says, healing, which would be expressing those things. So it's like a cathartic experience, I suppose. But joy? No.
Part of light. I'm trying to be a part of full-blown happiness, love, understanding, people taking care of each other.
No.
Community, people to leave from these experiences and want to go out and do good.
I don't understand. Okay. Question for Travis. How will people interpret in their brains from what they see in their eyes and they hear with their ears that they're going to walk out of there and be like, you know what? I'm going to walk out of here and man, I'm going to do good. I don't get it. And that is not the purpose of a concert. Entertainment is for entertainment purposes only. It is not a life coaching session. It's not a pastor preaching time. It's nothing but entertainment. So make sure that that's done responsibly. That's it. It's not a place for love and care and helping each other and looking after your family and community. What are you saying? It's music. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's music and people are coming to listen to the music and sing to the music and idolize the artist, you know. And that's it. That's it. The music resonates with something in them. And they're not going there to get educated by you. They're going there to enjoy your music, sure. To get educated by you, to be inspired to leave there and do good, never going to happen.
Literally what we want, you know, we want to show them these things, you know. We put everything into the, you know, this is, you know, this festival, you know, this is our 3rd year, you know, so we try to put, you know, every year we put everything into the festival so people can enjoy it. You know, it's not about just come perform. Not that, you know, it's things for them to do all day. And different artists for them to experience too.
Have the
Wow, you're such a good Samaritan. I mean, I just never knew it until now.
trauma of this tragedy impacted your desire to perform in the future?
I've always seen performances of art of healing for me. That's why I've always been so into it. You know, I don't know if you looked at like some of the growth from where I've tried to take performance. I've always tried to, I feel like it's the art of healing. I feel like it's a moment where people have a mutual understanding. You know,
How can a crowd of 50,000 people have a mutual understanding unless it's a cult?
and I feel like the first things first, before anything, is that we address, you know, a lot of safety concerns. I think the first things first is that, because not even just for me, you don't want other, you know, artists to have to go and take a part of that trauma.
You don't have to worry about them. They've got this. It's you. We're looking at your concert now.
A part of that experience, take a part of that, you know, that fear. You don't want concert goers to still be a part of that fear. You want them to feel safe. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just the first things first. And I think once we take major steps into moving in that direction, you know, I feel like, you know, it could be cool for people to practice that healing again, you know, and
Now they're practicing healing at your concerts? Through a whole rebellious, adrenaline-fueled, power-hungry, high, mentally unstable state of mind. I can say so many words about this, but like, you want them to experience it healing again? What healing? What are you talking about? It's entertainment, it's music. It's not for healing.
understand that. I don't think people should run away from it and shy away from it. I think, you know, it's a form of healing, you know?
You know, no matter what you do at any of your shows in the future, regardless of how much security, how much safety you put in place, you cannot control human behavior.
Yeah.
You can't control 40, 50,000 people doing whatever it is that they do. Is that scary?
And they don't all have a mutual understanding. As you saw, there was that girl on the stage saying, stop the concert, people are dying. I mean, she was a leader in her own right doing that, right? And then there's others peeing on people who passed out. Stomping on people, trigger warning, until their faces are disfigured. That's not a mutual understanding. That's why I said what I said, that it's like the only way you're going to get a crowd of 50,000 people to have one mutual understanding is if it's a cult, which it is not. It's a concert. Let's put it in perspective. I think it's gotten all to his head. It's a concert. They go there to listen to your music because they resonate with what you say, what you sing, how you do it, whatever. And it should be done responsibly, and that's it. It is not for healing, growing, loving, caring for each other's family. No.
I mean, yeah, but you know, you also put trust in the fans too, to, you know, just have a good time. You know, you just reinstill that, and, you know, you continue to practice, you know, when you're on stage, to just remind them, you know, and even when they're there, to just constantly have messages to remind them, like, yo, look, you're here to have a good time. We're not here. If you see somebody, you know, help another, you know.
If you see somebody, help another. Well, that statement is interesting. If you see somebody, help another. It's just weird. I don't mean to nitpick that one. I know what he meant, but I'm like, it's so vague, you know?
I think it's just continue to reinstill that message. I think help that mindset.
Yeah, so Astroworld was one of, you know, several ways you gave back to Houston. Do you think you've, you know, lost that privilege to do that?
to be honest, I haven't really like thought about that because I've just been thinking about just community healing, and you know.
I don't know if I could eye roll hard enough. I just think if I could, my eyes would roll into the back of my head. But seriously,
The family's healing, and you know, all those things kind of building back up.
That could take forever though. That, you know, I don't know if you ever truly heal.
Yeah.
From these type of situations.
Yeah. And you know, but you know, through these things, you know, like I say, music is part of healing. And at the end of the day, I just don't, you know, a Travis Scott show or, you know, an Astroworld show, you know, wasn't the bottom line factor of what happened here, you know? And I think we just gotta.
wasn't it though? What if it was? What if he could accept that it actually was? And you could see he cannot accept that, like, maybe you won't be able to have another Astroworld. Maybe you won't. Maybe your reputation is really ruined forever. That's what he's saying. No, it's not. But it is. That's what Charlamagne is saying. But it is. And he's like, I haven't really thought about that. I'm just thinking about community healing. He's just trying to save face at this point.
Figure out what that was, what happened. But, you know, having a Travis Scott show, you know, we've done shows, you know, all over. That wasn't the.
And we know about those shows and what happened there too. People didn't die, but people sure got injured.
You know, what happened here, you know, something that happened here, you know, and that's why we want to fix it, because it can happen anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And
you mean you want to fix it because you want bigger concerts, right?
I think once we get further along in that, I think, you know, it'd be a little bit more receptive, I feel.
Just you as an individual, when you perform again, what precautions will you take moving forward? Just you, just based off what you can personally control. What precautions would you take moving forward?
I'll do the same thing I'm, you know, been doing, just double, you know, making sure everybody is on.
So nothing's going to change.
On post, and, you know, I'll do the, you know, double down on just making sure that everyone is locked in. Everyone is aware.
That doesn't sound right. And his new song is Escape Plan. Remember that. Just make sure everyone's locked in. There's no escape. Oh, okay.
Where everyone is on response, everybody is on.
Again, I know what he means. Okay, I'm not dumb. I know what he means. I'm just being like, if we take it just at face value, what he's saying, it's quite scary. But he means security teams, medical staff, if they're locked in. But they were locked in. It's just, what he's saying here is really nothing's going to change.
You know, on it. You know what I'm saying? And look out. Try to, you know, if you felt like it wasn't there more, push for it to be more. Push.
This dude's reminding me of some ex-boyfriends and some conflict resolution where it's like, okay, so what's going to change? And then these are the type of answers you get of just like, yeah, you know, just double down on it and just, you know, do better, you know, be there for you and stuff. And you're like, oh, no. Oh, hell no. Oh, no, I'm so out of here.
To call and response more with the fans.
Like, what do you mean? Like, are y'all okay?
Or, you know, or like, you know, try to have some sort of call and response with the fans while still being smooth in the performance. Because at the end of the day, it's still performance art.
How will you have a call and response with 50,000 people? Especially when you're going to ask them to put their middle finger up if they're okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why the whole general idea about this is you want to make sure that it's all these factors are done before we even go into these things, you know? Because you want to just, when you go in, you want to have the mindset that, okay, people are going to be okay. We can have a good show. If anything's going down, people are going to be right there to be the first one to get to them, you know? And if there's going to be any communication, you know, communication, but, you know, I think, yeah.
When you did stop the show, how did you see that one person?
I mean, he was right there, you know? You had you had people like just spread it out, you know? And so I'm looking, and I'm like, oh. So I just called down, and, you know, the medics just came in, responded, got him out, you know?
That's the only one you saw that?
Yeah, that's the only one I saw. And then, you know, when I seen the lights in the back, you know, I just.
Yes, tell us about that.
Just double check, make sure everyone was okay. You know, I got a response that everyone was okay. Yeah.
How normal is that to see ambulances and everything else at these festivals?
Well, it was lights, so, you know, an ambulance.
It was lights? His answer to it is, well, it was lights. But yet, I was trying to remember the Kardashians' name. Kendall, Kylie, Kim, Chloe, Courtney, all of them. Kylie. Kylie was there. Kendall was also there. But Kylie is the one who put it on her Instagram story, right? Filming the ambulance. But he's like, it was just lights, man. But you stopped and you said, what the F is that, man? What the F is that? It wasn't just lights. You know it wasn't just lights, dude. Come on.
Ambulances don't really have like red and blue lights, you know.
Oh, so you thought it was...
They have, what do you mean? Ambulances don't just really have red and blue lights. What, do you mean the cops, you were worried the cops were coming in or what?
I don't, you don't know, you just looking at his lights. That's why I asked. I'm just like, yo, is it an ambulance? It's like, what's going on? You don't know if it's like somebody got some lights up there doing, you know, doing some turn, you don't know, but.
Somebody's got some lights up there? Yet the lights are on a vehicle. But they got lights up there. What is going on?
You know, I didn't get a response. So, you got a response from the fans. You know, I asked everyone to put a hand up. And then, didn't get a response.
No, you asked them to put their middle finger up.
Anything else, so just carried on.
Does it make you feel judged when you see videos, circulating of other artists stopping their shows, like to check on fans since Astroworld? Because it's almost like the insinuation from other artists is that, like, you didn't do enough, so we don't want to be like Travis.
I take it as, they're just taking extra precautions, because...
I take it as, they're just taking extra precautions. Okay. Could you maybe take extra precautions? Could you have also done that? Like, I don't get his answer at all.
It might not have been something that, was running through their mind at time before. And they're just taking extra precautions to, make sure they don't run through the same problems.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks they're doing this after the fact, but no, all the concerts we looked at were way into the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and teens. Dude, oh my word.
And I can commend them for that. I've always done the same thing, in my prior shows and at this show, so I feel them, I just think it's been a little bit more, people are more capturing it now, like, because of what's going on. I think that's just how the media works.
Do you feel like your team right now is allowing you to do everything that you possibly could do?
And as far as what?
Just as far as like anything regarding to the situation, speaking out,
well,
reaching out to families, whatever.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of legal into it, but at the end of the day, I'm human, so I want to do so much to try to like help and heal, and you want to give time for people to heal, and you want to give time, but I want to be able to like go and start taking these steps to, addressing these.
You need to go to therapy. Those are the steps you need.
These problems and getting to the solutions. Addressing the solutions and addressing ways to fix these things from happening in the future. Like, and I think that's the main thing. And I've always took pride in trying to lead things and go and attack things and, be the first.
Oh, we know.
To jump out and go do it, so I'm more than, happy.
You get reckless leaders in life.
Enough to go.
But then there's the person Travis Scott, but then there's the business of Travis Scott. So yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people around you trying to protect the business.
Yeah.
So for you personally, like, how much do you want to protect the business as well?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, people have to understand these businesses aren't built because, you Charlamagne, I'm Travis. So it's like.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows what that sentence means.
I've always cared about, the fans. I don't give a, it's about them. Mm-hmm. So.
You care about the fans and you don't give a damn about what now? Oh, you mean money. Okay, then why are you doing this interview?
it's like, obviously it's like business and this, but I've always been the one that's like pushed back on vocally, like, yo, you know, we gotta, you know, this is about, you know, the fans, and, you know, the team has always felt the same way. And so, and anytime I've ever done anything corporately, that's just how I've always been. It's just like, yo, we wanna go do things to make sure that the people that are experiencing this product is having the best experience. It's not about, you know, what we could do, like the numbers, like, you know, that's not.
It's definitely about the numbers. You sold out 100,000 tickets in a day when you launched this concert, and then you said you're going to find a way to get the wild ones in anyway, which I understand would be for your fans, but yet the numbers are big time with minimal cost on security.
What we chase here, we chase for people to have the.
In fact, I would say maybe you should look at the numbers more. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe you should look at the numbers and treat it like a business, because that is what it is at the end of the day. All of this, whatever this blend is of what he's trying to do isn't working. Treat it like a business and invest enough in security. And look at capacity. And make sure everyone's safe.
Best experience, you know, we want people to enjoy themselves. We want people to walk away with like just ideas, like, wow, this is like.
Okay, that makes no sense either. You want people to walk away with like, man, ideas. My brain is just lit right now. It's on fire. It's just like so many ideas right now. So you want people, wow, you set quite the benchmark for your concerts. You want them to go there to heal, to express themselves, to have ideas, and to leave there feeling like I'm about to do good, to walk out of there and start doing good.
You know,
they say that there's no permanent friends or enemies in business. So, you know, if anybody decides to back away from Travis Scott on a corporate level, do you care?
No. But I've never jumped into things with people that didn't know me. So everyone I surrounded myself with, you know.
Oh, he looks a little scared of that question right there.
It's always been, you know, a backbone and, you know, supportive to anything I want to do to help fix anything that could be a good cause, you know, so.
These big words, man. Anything that I could do to fix to, you know, be a good cause.
You know, I'm thankful for that, you know.
If the families of the victims never forgive you, will you ever be able to forgive yourself? Can you live with that?
Nah, it's tough. You know, it's real tough. Because I want them to really know that my intentions, you know, wasn't to harm their family at all. It's for them to come to have a good experience. You know, and like, you know, I've always feel like I have a connection with my fans, you know, through the music. I feel like when they come to see me, it's not just like, oh, they come in it's like a connection. And, you know, sometimes.
It just sounds unhealthy. Don't you think? Don't you think it sounds a little bit unhealthy? Like mentally unhealthy to be like, man, we're in this, we're feeling it, we're connecting. But it's not individuals. You said in the beginning, it's a sea of people. So you're connecting with a sea of people. You don't know their names. You don't know their faces. You wouldn't recognize them out at your strip club at the after party. If they walked up to you there, would you recognize them? No, you wouldn't. So how deep can this connection really go? Not deep at all.
It's not knowing, you know, people not understanding like artists and where we come from, it could be a disconnect. And, you know, I would love to, you know, instead of understanding and, you know, for them to truly know where my heart's from. You know, it didn't come for me to harm, and it wasn't about a show to keep, you know, at all. You know, it's about for them to have, you know, a very good time, and it's just tragic that it didn't turn out that way, you know.
Do you feel like you're being villainized?
I mean, I feel like it comes with being in a seat.
That's what I was going to say. He already is, he feels like a villain already. So to feel like you're being villainized, he's like, it comes with it. He's accepted it, you know?
You know? And I feel like they pointing the finger at me because it's my festival, or they want to, you know, I am who I am, you know, and it maybe not a lot of like understanding about like what's going on, but you know, like I said before, I feel like I can kind of like take that in a sense. Because my whole career, I feel like people have been trying to do that, and I feel like I've shown through actions that that's not my character. That's not, you know, that's not who I am. I'm shining through positive, you know. And I feel like, you know, with understanding and with everything, I feel like people understand that what my heart wasn't there to be the villain, you know. I was there to be like a hometown hero.
That is a massive statement. My heart wasn't to be a villain, it was to be a hometown hero. Oof. Well, let me tell the crowd then, if that is your hero, you also have to reassess what kind of mentors you have in life and what you're trying to learn and experience.
You know, the day before Astroworld, there's footage of you discussing the importance of giving back to your community and how much it means to you to be able to do that. Do you think people have forgotten, you know, your heart in all this and what Astroworld was truly about?
You know, I think people, you know, are grieving, and it can get, you know, misplaced with, you know, who cares about that, what's going on right now. But, you know, like I said, I just want to continue to, you know, stay on those stepping blocks and continue to doing the charity I've been doing, and continue to doing the community work I've been doing for Houston, you know. I was doing those things before, not looking for people to pat me on the back for them. You know, I was just doing them just simply just to make a change. And so,
What change do you want to make?
you wouldn't be surprised if people don't, you know, pay attention to some of those things throughout whenever you are doing them.
I think it's excellent PR for an artist to do charity work.
But that's not what you're doing for, really. So I feel like at the end of the day, you continue to do those things, regardless, you know?
Do you think you'll ever be able to recover from this emotionally?
You know, my grandmother, my dad, my mom, they've always told me to, you know, put your faith in God and hide behind his wing. And
Okay.
at the end of the day, I think you gotta, I've always told myself, you know, things are gonna get, it's hard, you know, things can be feeling amazing sometimes and things can get real hard, you know, and I think how you respond to things and where you channel your emotions is very important.
He's very impressed with himself with how he's responding to things. He thinks he's being extremely mature.
You know, especially at a time like this, and I gave my, you know, it was hard for me to really, because it is the first time anything like this. I've even seen anything like this, heard of it, and it be happening, you know, to this whole community. You know, it just, you know, you kind of just, you want to be able to channel that emotion to just respond, and you got to be strong, man. Stepping in and doing the things for the community doesn't come with being, you know, too weak. You got to be able to, you know, step through these things and show people that you really care. You know, this wasn't just to get to the point to do this, but it was really to create active change, you know? And
Saying a lot of nonsense.
I think, you know, these are, you know, it's these moments right now where you gotta really show, you know, where your heart is in this thing, you know? And
This thing, he calls it this thing again. Something happened in this thing. Where's your heart in this whole in this thing? Where's your heart in this thing? Yeah, where is it? It's not in this interview. If you thought it was, it isn't. We don't feel it.
I think, you know, that's what I've always, you know, wanted to do, and, you know, I want to just continue to do that.
I'm glad you mentioned your family, because that was one of my last questions. Like, how important has family been in this situation?
You know, it's been important. All my family was there too. You know, so it's been important. But to be able to have them and bounce back, you know, ideas, and, you know, them grieve with, you know, for those families as well. Pray for those families as well. Continue to, you know, them also being a helping hand as well, you know, which It gives me more hands to help. I feel like, which is more important. And them always having my back to support the idea, want to create this change, I think, at least gives me more confidence that, I'm not in this alone, you know what I'm saying? To help fix this, for the families, for the community.
As a superstar, it's weird, right? Because these same outlets that report on this tragedy, when something like the W cover leaks, then now they want to get back to your relationship. And whether you and, Kylie are together or not. Is that not strange to you?
I mean, yeah. So I don't really only do magazines I like,
Avoiding the tabloids, otherwise he knows they'll say that they've split up. But also implying that, of course, they haven't split up.
But, a magazine gonna try to figure out what the fuck they want to figure out, I've never did anything for a relationship for, anybody to try to figure out or put a label on what they want to put it on. We know what our relationship is, and, so I just stand strong on it.
He doesn't seem all that secure about that right now.
So I guess my final question, man, who does Travis Scott ultimately, I guess, think is responsible for this tragedy?
I love the final question.
It's crazy because something tragic happened here, and what I've just been trying to, get to the bottom of is just what happened here, how it happened here, and
So he's not going to answer the question. Who's really responsible? Is it an act of God? How did this happen? It's like such a mystery.
I think the families are owed, that. I feel like, the community is owed that. I feel like we're owed that to just know what happened here. And, I don't want to just speak too soon. I just want to figure out, what happened, But, we, like I said, as artists, we just leave this up, to professionals to make sure that we, that
Shifting blame. He's not responsible at all. That's the answer.
fans are having a good time. People are protected and can, leave and have the best experience ever.
They're going to pick this interview apart. So is there anything you want to say?
Yes, ma'am, we are going to pick this interview apart. We sure did. It was snarky time.
To your fans, to the family of people who lost loved ones, before we get out of here?
I mean, I want everyone to just continue praying for the fans. I want people to continue praying for the fans that was lost. I want people to continue praying for the families. I want people to continue just reaching out for healing. I want people to continue to just be there for each other. And remember that, that love is just, everything. And with that, we can try to cure everything, and
Now you want to cure everything?
take steps into, healing. And I think the more we try to, continue to let people grieve and continue to be there for people and, check in on people and, check in on your loved ones and just
Pretend we have emotion.
I think that's just like one of the most important things,
I think so. If I summarize what he's saying, I think what I'm going to do is just keep on pretending that I have emotion and hope this whole thing blows over, because I'm just so excited to have another concert in the future. Hopefully bigger, better, and I'm looking forward to my next album.
Staying strong through this while we, figure out what's going on, and bring understanding to these families and to the community.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to send healing energy to everybody involved, the families, those who were lost, yourself, because nobody wants tragedies like this to happen.
Yeah, not at all.
So preventing them moving forward is the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
Thank
brother.
you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And that is the end of the interview. So, did you enjoy some snarky time? I want to find one more thing here. This is, wait. Man, I wish I could find this one part. The Trevor Noah says. I'm from South Africa, as you know. So, is it this that I'm looking for? Yes. Hold on. I'm going to try. I know this is a very weird segue, but you'll understand. So, I just want to see.
It's like we all have our mentors, and you know, you're there because someone has died.
Here we go. Let's watch this. You'll understand in a moment why I'm showing you this now. I just feel like the way Travis Scott is like, I don't know what's going on here, what happened here, where did this come from? It feels like good to show you that. If you've never seen it, I hope you enjoy that, because that is what I feel like Travis Scott is saying, like, we'll just figure it out and find out just like what happened and like where it happened and like how. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Overtime every time. Snarky time as well. Let me know if you want some merch for that, because I can make that happen. Grizzly, snarky time. It's time for a little bit of snark. Okay, so thank you for requesting it as well. A lot of you wanted me to do this. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts, things that I analyzed. And I will see you in the next one.